we traveled with you in ships. In other words, so Allah is attributing the existence of ships to himself. Therefore, inventions made by human beings are also the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, everything is the creation of Allah. وَخَلَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. Allah says, this is important, because there is an Aqidah dispute with the students of Ibn Taymiyyah. And they say that Allah creates powers within things. And we say, no, right? No. And why do we say no? Because if Allah creates power within things, then you can, then those things make something. Then you could attribute the pearl to the oyster, right? You would attribute the pearl to the oyster. And therefore, it would negate the direct statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah created all things. So that is one of the points of dispute. Now, what is the level of that point of dispute? Some of the scholars of Ahl Sunnah have said that if somebody says that Allah gave them the power, then it would remove it from kufr, and we would simply say it's an innovation. Is it an innovation that puts you outside of Ahl Sunnah, or is it an innovation in itself only? Allah knows best about that. I do believe that they say it's an innovation that puts you outside of Ahl Sunnah, because Sidi Ahmed al-Dardir in his Kharida, he calls that person a bid'i. The mas'ala in Arabic is called mas'alatu al-quwwat al-muda'a. The issue in Arabic, if you want to look it up in Arabic, it's called al-quwwa al-muda'a. The placed power. Did Allah place power, real, true power, in anything? And we say the answer to that is no. Yeah, because Allah attributes all creations to himself. And if true power was placed by Allah into something else, then that thing created something, okay, produced something, like the way an oyster produces a pearl, then we would have to attribute the pearl to the oyster, okay? So we say no. We can say that somebody created something mainly as a means. We can say that, right? He created a great masterpiece. But what we mean by that is that you're the means of that masterpiece coming into existence. And we hold all of the true creation to be the direct creation of Allah. And here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is attributing the ships to himself, when clearly ships are not a natural produced thing. Humans made ships, right? وَلَهُ الْجَوَارِ الْمُنْشَآتِ. Surah Al-Rahman. For him are the ships that move. You see how it's a theological proof? For him, lahu, he is the creator of that. If you make a robot and you program the robot, right? And then that robot then goes and produces what you programmed it to produce, right? A car. Or that you gave it the ability to acquire the knowledge, to download all the factory knowledge of how to make a car, and then it goes and makes a car. You're the maker of the car, right? You made it. So nothing has true. Essentially, the analogy of robots is very good in the sense that no matter what a robot does, the human gets the credit who made the robot, right? You cannot, yeah. So there's no legal power or existence to a robot, right? So in the same way, we have wealth and we produce wealth, for example. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَآتُوهُمْ, give to the poor, مِنْ مَالِ اللَّهِ, from the wealth of Allah which he gave you. So Allah owns the wealth and he gave it to you as a steward of that wealth. Now, I just want to make one point clear here. When we mention a disagreement of this nature of theology with the Taymis or Salafis or Hanbalis, okay, I want to just say here, we're not making anathemizing them out of Islam or takfir, because some people take it the wrong way. We would clearly, if someone explicitly says, no, Allah is not the creator of all things, and they'll never say that. They'll say, yes, Allah is the creator of all things, and they'll have their own way of going around it. So that will downgrade the disagreement from like heresy to you're incorrect about that. And I do think that the issue of al-quwwat al-muda'a, the majority of Ahl Sunnah did hold this to be a qat'i matter. that would render one a mubtada. Could you look it up? I mean, it's in the Sinusiyat, it's in the Kharida. When he says ذاك بدعي عند أهل السنة, I believe he means that's an innovation. It's you become a sect now, right? It's an innovation that puts you outside of Ahl Sunnah if you say that things have actual power. I'm now reading Sharh al-Muqaddimat, written by As-Sunusi al-Maliki. شرك الأسباب وهو إسناد التأثير للأسباب العادية, which means a branch of shirk, meaning granting a divine attribute to a created being, is that you attribute the effect to the means. To the means. So I'm now satisfied in my body by drinking this tea, this chai. Is it the chai that satisfied me, or is the satisfaction a creation of Allah directly? I must attribute the satisfaction to Allah directly. Okay? Through the he did that through the drink, but the drink itself has no power, absolutely no power at all. Okay? كشرك الفلاسفة. Who has this? The philosophers and the naturalists, and today the scientists, essentially. Everyone who is believes in naturalism. Okay. ومن تبعهم على ذلك وهو العمل لغير الله تعالى. الشرك الأغراض. Okay. والحكم الأربعة. الحكم السادس now he says here, there's a تفصيل. من قال في الأسباب العادية إنها تؤثر بطبعها فقد حكي الإجماع على كفره. We mentioned that. But whoever says that it does have a direct effect because Allah placed that power in it, بقوة أودعها الله تعالى فيها فهو فاسق مبتدع وفي كفره قولان. All right, so he is a bid'i. This is an innovation. Why? You are negating a direct verse of Allah. وَخَلَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقَكُمْ وَمَا تَعْمَلُونَ. He created you and your actions. Your very action is a creation. Therefore, how could you be the result, the cause of the source of the effect? So our theology is very different from our law here. In law, we don't bring this up. In law, you have agency and you're responsible for your actions which you intended. You're also responsible to a lesser degree for actions you didn't intend. That means I accidentally broke your mug. I owe you the mug, right? I accidentally injured somebody. I owe him a diya. I owe him money. I accidentally kill somebody. I owe his inheritors money, blood money. If I intentionally did it, then it could be diya or qisas or forgiveness. Point being is that don't confuse the hukm adi with the haqiqah of things. The hukm adi is life as we know it. Life as we know it. Okay? I do stuff. If I want to wet my throat and drink, I need to drink. Right? So that's called hukm adi, the normal way of life. But the haqiqah of things, the reality of things, is different from hukm adi. The reality of things is that Allah is the creator of every single action we do. What do we do? Allah says, لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَعَلَيْهَا مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. Our role is kasb, which is intending. That's what we gained. I intended. لَهَا مَا كَسَبَتْ وَعَلَيْهَا مَا اكْتَسَبَتْ. So Allah Ta'ala calls this kasb. So as you understand the difference, what is adi? Adi is what Allah has accustomed us to. Allah has accustomed to us, if you're cold, make a fire. If you're dirty, pour water on yourself and you become clean. Pour soap on yourself and not soil, right? If you want something to be cut, get something sharp, not blunt. But neither the sharpness nor the bluntness has true power in itself. But you still do it. Just the fact that we do something and we advocate doing something and we study it and we amazed by the Allah's creation does not mean it has true reality power in itself. So that's something that is to be understood.